Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, the series kicks off at the dead of night, with a mysterious lady supposedly slaying our MC, Tomokui Kanata, who is unable to stop his own death. Upon opening his eyes, our MC spots an elder goblin in front of him, hearing the old goblin give our MC the name of Gobru. As the elder goblin force feeds Gobru some insects, Gobru falls asleep, waking up the next day, only to spot several other baby goblins around him, helplessly crying. Another day has passed, and Gobru is surprised that goblins mature so fast, heading out towards the sunlight as various other goblins watch. With the fourth day arriving, the elder goblin states that this will be the last meal they will receive, as they will have to hunt for their own food moving forward. As Gobru savors the delicious grubs, Gobru once again heads towards the light, amazed to be in the middle of a forest where mysterious birds fly in the sky, along with the various unknown plants that surround their home. Gobru greets a fellow goblin, Gobkichi, purposely teaming up with one of the more athletic goblins to hunt down their next meal together. As Gobkichi scares a horned rabbit towards Gobru, Gobru manages to knock out the rabbit, but catches Gobkichi trying to eat without him, disciplining Gobkichi. As Gobru extracts the horn from the rabbit, he suddenly hears a voice in his head, brushing the voice aside, as Gobkichi and Gobru finally feast on the rabbit's flesh. With the fifth day arriving, the duo repeat the hunting process, but Gobru manages to make use of the previous rabbit's horn to slay another rabbit. Once again, Gobru hears a strange voice in his head, but once again brushes it aside, feasting on their prey. Just then, Gobru is notified that he has learnt the skill escape, realizing that he has the skill to absorb the traits of anything he eats, just like how he did in his previous life. As the two continue to hunt more food, Gobru notes how none of his skills carried on from his previous life, but is perfectly fine, as there are plenty of monsters in the forest. On day 6, the other goblins learn of Gobkichi and Gobru's success hunting horned rabbits, with Gobmi in particular revealing that a goblin brethren was slain by a horned rabbit the other day. Seeing as Gobmi is so amazed at Gobru's success hunting, Gobru offers Gobmi to join them hunting the next day, earning him a big hug from Gobmi. Sadly, due to it raining, Gobru postpones their next hunt, heading deeper into their cave's storage room to search for weapons. Upon spotting in particular, Gobru heads back outside beginning to craft a weapon, but reveals that he had seen some captured human women inside a storage room, not wanting to think about their reason for being there. Just then, the elder goblin Gobji approaches, telling Gobru that he'll level up pretty fast, revealing that Gobru can see his level by tapping his head. Apparently Gobji is level 86, adding that upon hitting level 100 a goblin can evolve into a hobgoblin, but utters that goblins normally age too quickly to even reach such a feat, as Gobji himself has only been alive for 20 years. As he leaves, he states that a fellow hobgoblin should be returning from a nearby village soon, creepily grinning at what prey the hobgoblin will bring home. On day 8, Gobmi is seen assisting the hunt by attacking from long range, all whilst Gobru focuses on attacking mid-range prey, only for Gobkichi to deal with any prey at close range. As the trio enjoy their spoils from the hunt, Gobru is notified that he has learnt the skills, Thermography, Venom, Venom Resistance, Search and Evil Eye. Throughout the 9th and 10th day, the trio continued to hunt and feast, but on the 11th, the gang accidentally stumbled into a cave with hundreds of bats. As Gobru orders Gobmi to flee, Gobkichi holds up a shield for Gobru, allowing Gobru to activate his Evil Eye skill, freezing the bats in place, allowing the gang to slay the bats. Gobru acquires Echolocation, Vamp Up and Vemphilia, from eating the bats, but at the same time, fellow goblins jealously watch from afar. That night, several goblins wake up in the middle of the night to attack Gobru, but having had his search skill active, Gobru attacks the 6 goblins with his horn, but when Gobmi found out they were attacking Gobru, she mercilessly put the goblins to sleep. On the 13th day, our trio faced an orc, forced to disarm the orc first, only to deal the finishing blow. Acquiring libido, orc language, detect analyze from the orc, Gobru reasons he should share his food with the other goblins, noting that he has definitely changed from his previous life, as he would have never helped the weak in his previous life. That night, Gobru receives various messages, telling Gobru that he has met the conditions to evolve, but not wanting to waste his precious sleep. Gobru simply agrees to evolve, heading back to sleep. On day 14, Gobru wakes up, shocked to see his new body, but is even more amazed to see that his face resembles his previous life's. Seeing Gobkichi has evolved as well, Gobmi is ecstatic for them, impressing Gobji as it has only been a month since they were born. Seeing as both are excited to test out their new bodies, they both agree to a duel, both heading outside to spar. As Gobkichi throws the first punch, Gobru nonchalantly blocks the strike, both trading blows, only for Gobru to slip Gobkichi's next punch, only to trip Gobkichi, making Gobru the winner. They both acknowledge how far they've grown, but suddenly they both hear loud cries off in the distance, prompting Gobru to call for Gobmi to reveal herself, asking Gobmi to grab her crossbow. Out on a large field, we see various horned rabbits being devoured by a pack of wolves, even managing to slay an orc flawlessly. With Gobru and Gobkichi in position, Gobru signals for Gobmi to fire the first shot directly at the pack leader, drawing the wolves' attention, only for Gobru and Gobkichi to begin slaying the wolves. With the pack leader running off, our trio are able to easily dismantle the pack of wolves, but as things wrap up, Gobru is confronted by the wolves' leader, but luckily the leader drops dead due to blood loss. Devouring the leader, Gobru obtains Wild Hunt, Hide Armor and Order, making use of it to become a leader. As Gobru brings back the wolves to feed the rest of the goblins, Gobru states that he expects to be repaid, prompting the fellow goblins to beg Gobru to train them how to hunt. With Gobru gladly offering to train them, the fellow goblins begin chanting and praising Gobru, giving Gobru a clear idea of what he needs to do moving forward. Gobru states that he plans to train his fellow goblins, all whilst devouring more skills himself, but as day 17 arrives, Gobru is seen exhausted with the amount of work he has on his plate. Upon heading back home, Gobru spots Gobmi has finally evolved. Later that day, both Gobru and Gobji pray for the deaths of the captured human women, as they had chosen to take their own lives with a poison. With day 26 already arriving, Gobru continues to train the other goblins, scolding Gob for trailing behind, but also notes that he himself has been devouring and stealing skills from more monsters in the forest. Just then, Gobru senses several beings approaching, readying his blade to slay them, but Gobji intervenes, revealing that they are allies. Seeing the various hobgoblins, Gobru watches as Gobji greets Hobkin, praising the Hobkin for capturing more women. Gobru reveals that goblin DNA can override human DNA, therefore when human and goblins mate, the children birthed will ultimately be a goblin. Unable to stand the sight of the petrified women, Gobru asks if he can take care of the captured women, but Hobkin gets pissed, grabbing Gobru by the collar. Seeing this, both Gobru and Hobkin's armies prepare to fight, but just then Hobzato and Hobsay the mage defuse the situation. As a compromise, Hobzato suggests that Gobru and Hobkin duel for the right to rule, but Gobru is easily able to defeat Hobkin, having used a web skill to restrain Hobkin. With Gobji and the others surprised that Gobru was hiding such a skill, Gobru declares that he'll decide the fate of the human women, secretly telling the girls that he'll take care of the girls and if they behave he'll allow them to return to their village. In exchange for their safety, the women reveal that they were part of a traveling business, but were unfortunately attacked, being the only women that survived, which haunts them still. The next day, Gobru arrives with food, learning that humans can't evolve like goblins and instead obtain special jobs. The short brown hair is an appraiser and a smith, the two blonde sisters are cooks and tailors. The green hair seems to be an alchemist and the red hair seems to be a rookie warrior. Heading back to train his goblin army, Gobru has Hobkin's men train with his army, scolding the cocky goblins for acting all tough, reasoning that they should continue focusing on training before hunting. On day 31, since it was raining, Gobru and Gobkichi put on a show, shocking everyone as they watched the boys move. That night whilst everyone sleeps, Hobkin and his men begin approaching the human women's, but before Hobkin can lay his hands on them, Gobru intervenes, beating and tying the men up. Before Hobkin can spout more of his nonsense, Gobru kicks Hobkin, apologizing to the girls that break down crying. With Gobkichi and some others waking from the commotion, Gobru orders Hobkin and his men to be dragged outside, publicly executing Hobkin and his men's, only to calmly ask if everyone understood the rules. On day 32, Gobru and his party finally begin hunting again, running into a tri-horned horse, which has tough scales. Gobru is forced to tie up the horse, giving them an opening to dismantle and slay the horse. From the horse, Gobru learns the skills: scaled drive, scaled horse's cry, quick healing, kick proficiency, pierce, proficiency up and triple thrust, a skill that allows Gobru to deal 3 times the normal damage. That night, Gobru is woken up by the red-haired girl sharing a bed with him, feeling bad as the redhead must have been scared. Surprisingly, on day 33, Gobru awoke with the redhead and Gobni sleeping beside him, rushing out of bed only to learn that Gob had evolved into a hobgoblin, having been carrying his party's gear during hunts. Reviewing his army's progress, Gobkichi is captain of the armored fighters, Gobni Mons the ranged unit, Hobzato handles mobile goblins, Gob leads the rear support, and Hobse is the village's lone mage. Seeing as everything at base is running smoothly, Gobru heads deeper into the forest to explore, running into another tri-horned horse. Conjuring a dark magic spell, Gai Durg, Gobru propels the spell at the horse, instantly decapitating it. Shocked at how strong he is, Gobru heads deeper north, spotting a trail of blood, only to remember that Gobji had warned the goblins of a powerful crimson bear that lived north of the forest. Just then the crimson bear appears, sending shivers through Gobru's body, but even though he knows he should run, Gobru gets excited at getting to fight and consume such a monstrous creature. Getting serious, Gobru conjures his dark magic spell once more, dual-wielding his axe and shield, only to engage the bear. Back at base, Gobni worries that Gobru is staying out too late, prompting Gob to ask around, reporting that the others have yet to see Gobru since this morning. As Gobru fires his spell, Gobru is shocked to see the crimson bear sacrifice its arm, to prevent a lethal blow. Going on the offense, the bear begins cleaving his surroundings with its claw, something Gobru knows he should avoid at all cost. Seeing an opening, Gobru leaps forward to decapitate the bear, but his axe barely cuts the bear's skin, leaping back. Trying a different tactic, Gobru makes use of his silk to restrain the bear, but out of nowhere, the crimson bear unleashes a breath of flames, consuming the surrounding forest with fire. As the bear slowly walks away, Gobru is revealed to have evaded the explosion, slowly regenerating his wounds. Knowing that he'll have to get in close, Gobru reveals himself, taunting the bear to unleash its breath of fire once more. Casting a barrier, Gobru dashes towards the bear's mouth, puncturing the inside of the bear's mouth, but sadly the bear uses the opportunity to land a powerful swipe, sending Gobru flying. Having barely survived, Gobru notes that his blade is preventing the bear from breathing more fire, revealing that he'll surely die if he gets struck again. But upon seeing the bear's determination, Gobru rushes towards the bear, evading its initial slash, leaping into air, only to pierce the bear's neck from behind. Seeing that the bear is now pissed, Gobru takes advantage of the bear's sporadic movements, both rushing towards each other. With day 34 arriving, Gobru sits alone, having won the duel, but has received a fatal blow from the bear. Devouring the bear meat, Gobru obtains the skill's heavy damage, overpowering strength, but slowly growing weak, Gobru falls unconscious. Just then the voice in his head notifies Gobru that he has once again completed the conditions to evolve, mindlessly accepting. Waking up on day 35, Gobru begins devouring the rest of the bear, gaining the skills: Howl of the Mountain Lord, Threatening Glint, and All Tolerance, but stops himself, realizing that his weapons are suddenly so small. Upon returning the village, Gobni scolds Gobru for being so reckless, but Gobji is more impressed that Gobru was able to defeat the Crimson Bear, the master of the Northern Forest, only to evolve into an ogre. With everyone calming down, Gobni and the redhead follow Gobru to their storage room, accidentally scaring the girls who seem to like how Gobru looks, but Gobni seems jealous. Returning his beaten-up axe to the blacksmith, Gobru is pleased to hear that the blacksmith had also crafted a knife for him, prompting Gobru to reward the blacksmith with a head pat, but Gobru does find it weird that Gobni and the redhead are pinching him. Next, Gobru hears that the sisters need some help, so Gobru says he'll ask 3 female goblins to help the sisters where needed, impressing Gobru as the girls seem to have integrated into their goblin society easily. Having a random thought, Gobru wonders if the sisters would love to be married one day, but upon seeing the sisters' flustered attitudes, the redhead and Gobni smack Gobru out of jealousy. Heading elsewhere, Gobru greets the alchemist, spotting a vial of potion, curious as to what the alchemist intends to do with the poison. The alchemist admits that she had planned to use it as protection, but seeing as Gobru and the other goblins are friendly, the alchemist says she plans to dispose of it. Changing topics, the alchemist praises Gobru's new looks, getting excited and giddy when Gobru picks her up. Sadly, Gobru noticed the redhead and Gobmi glaring at him, ultimately forced to spend more time with the girls than he had anticipated. On day 36, Gobru continues to spar other goblins, but sadly his light punches would severely damage his fellow goblins, having easily shattered Gobkichi's armor. As Gobru begins healing the other goblins, Gobru spots Gobkichi storm off, wondering what happened. Later that day, Gobmi and Hobzato went to hunt together. Gob and other goblins began mining for rare stones, and the redhead had continued to hone her skills. As for Gobru, he's seen sewing something beside Hobse, who's impressed Gobru is still active even though his left arm had been devoured by the bear. Gobru asks Hobse if she thinks Gobkichi will be fine, but Hobse simply states that it's up to Gobkichi to catch up to Gobru. Changing topics, Gobru asks for his book back, but Hobse simply ignores him. With day 37 arriving, Gobru continues with his morning training, but during lunch, Gob suddenly rushes to report that she had found a carbuncle severely injured. When Gobru tries to heal the carbuncle, he realizes that they need the help of the alchemist to make up for all the blood lost. Later that day, the carbuncle wakes up, grateful to be saved by complete strangers, only to learn how she got here. The carbuncle reveals its name to be Returner, and was attacked by humans not too long ago, having such a rare stone on her head worth upwards of 1 billion gold. Desperate, Returner begs Gobru to chase off the adventurers pursuing her, as she herself is an ancient artifact created by the legendary mage, Velvet, whilst also being the guardian of her master's treasury. Returner utters that her core was damaged when the humans attacked, meaning access to the hidden treasury with sacred artifacts may be sealed forever. Returner states that she is willing to hand over the treasury to monsters rather than humans, which Gobru is pleased by, calling for everyone to gather around. Gobru declares that they'll all be heading towards the treasury, asking for the spirit stone knife the blacksmith had recently crafted, reassuring the human girls that they will try scaring the other human off before they resort to violence. With everyone making it to the golden treasury, Gobru orders everyone else to hide, whilst he tries to speak with the humans first. Sadly, the humans end up finding Gobru first, reasoning that they should slay the monsters in their way, and only then will they get their treasure. Spotting an invisible assassin approaching, Gobru nonchalantly blocks the assassin's strike, scolding the adventurers for attacking and robbing from the innocent. Refusing to listen to Gobru, the adventurers begin barraging Gobru with strikes, forcing Gobru to evade, detecting that there are 3 mages that are capable of high-quality magic. Gobru notices that the attack patterns of the adventurers are sloppy, annoying Gobru, but this leaves him wide open to be hit by some lightning magic. Sadly, the level 3 lightning spell doesn't damage Gobru, but having had enough, Gobru calls for the others to attack, ultimately stripping and devouring the adventurers. Gobru gains the jobs of an assassin, crusader, guardian, high wizard, priest and enchanter. Upon seeing the rare gear, Gobru chose to consume the gear as well, gaining status concealment and item box which allows Gobru to store up to 1200 items with 99 copies each. With the promise fulfilled, Returner leads Gobru to the Velvet's treasury where Gobru spots Velvet's corpse, learning that Velvet was skilled with spirit communication. Seeing as the Returner's life is coming to an end as well, Gobru chooses to consume the Returner's stone, gaining the skill Golden Order. As Gobkichi checks up on Gob, the others begin moving the loot in the treasury into Gobru's item box. As for the corpse of Velvet, Gobru chose to cremate it. Surprisingly, Velvet's corpse left behind a glove which Gobru equipped, being a substitute for his missing left arm. As the gang head home, Gobru decides to throw a party celebrating their gains so far, and throughout day 38, Gobru and the blacksmith inspect the various legendary items. On day 39, Gobru handed out items to the 15 other hobgoblins, personally keeping the Vermilion Spear, Kaziklu Bay, the Magic Bracelet, Solitary Fury and his already equipped, Silver Arm, totaling 3 legendary artifacts, the second highest ranking items. That afternoon, everyone worked together to hunt down and make bear stew, but Gobru is concerned that the red hair didn't help out. On day 40, Gobru decides to hold a tournament to rank the hobgoblins. On day 41, Gobru set out to slay the golden spider, devouring and learning the skills goldthread and golden spider shell. Next was slaying the red deer with rose quartz antlers, but as Gobru explored the forest, he ran into a massive tree, realizing that the tree is home to dryads that seduce and suck the life force out of male species, something he learnt from Gobji. Just then a dryad appears before him, beginning to press against and seduce Gobi, but seeing as he can't hold back his temptation, Gobru makes use of a skill, indulging in his temptations and satisfying the dryad. Afterwards, Gobru heads to a nearby waterfall to wash off, but runs into lizardmen, slaying and learning the skills aquatic life and lizardmen language. Gobru ended the day with slaying a bull, making use of his left arm. On day 42, Gobru had found out that 2 goblins were capable of magic, assigning Hobsei to teach the goblins, but gets scared seeing how happy Hobsei is. Moving on, Gobru learns enchantment magic from the blacksmith, but wonders why the blacksmith, Gobni and the redhead are all mad at him. Shocked to see that the sisters are trying to poison him, Gobru learns from the alchemist that the girls are jealous, realizing that the dryad had left hickeys on his neck. Just then the alchemist leans in for a kiss, offering to do the deed with Gobru as well, but just then, Gobni, the redhead and the other girls offer to join in as well, all whilst Gobkichi and Gob are kept outside with some golden threading. Check out one of our other videos on the screen or in the info card above. Subscribe, like and comment.